Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Kate Mercy. Today we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite full coverage foundations. If this is something that you're interested in, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel down below. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so as you saw in the intro, we are going to be discussing, in my humble opinion, the top 5 best full coverage foundations. I do have a natural mix of drugstore and higher end. Some are kind of like that mid-range point, some are like way up here. So I think that just kind of happened naturally, which I'm actually quite glad about because I think it goes to show that you don't have to break the bank to get that full beat. I'm not talking about these in any particular order. These are just kind of my top 5 go-tos. So the first one I want to talk about is actually a little bit newer to me. This is by Covergirl and it's their Outlast Extreme 3-in-1 foundation. I feel like the shade range on this is okay for the drugstore. Do I think it could be better? Yes, but I think the coverage on this is really great. I don't find that I end up having like too thick of a product where it's like harder to blend out. I do feel like it blends out really easily, and I feel like you don't need a lot of product to really cover the face. As far as finish goes, I don't find that this is overly matte. I also don't find this to be dewy. I feel like it's a nice in-between option. I think that if you are dry skinned with any full coverage foundation, it's beneficial for me anyways when my skin's really dry to really prep the skin appropriately. But I did not find this to be like drying, and I also did not find this to be oily. It identifies that it's going to last you for 24 hours. I can with confidence say that I've never tested that claim. I will say that I have worn this for 8 to 10 hours, and I did enjoy the way that my makeup looked at the end of the day. So if this is something you've been thinking about, and if you enjoy full coverage foundation that's not going to break the bank, I think this is a great option. The next one I want to talk about is this one by Dose of Colors. This one technically is identified as medium to full. I personally find that this gives really great coverage, so that's why I'm including it in this video. I enjoyed the shade range that Dose of Colors offers. I think they did a really great job with this. I also enjoyed that this does not look heavy or cakey. I do get more of a matte finish when I wear this foundation, so if you're somebody that doesn't like that, this one probably won't be for you. But I do really enjoy the way that this looks. I don't find it's overly drying. It blends out really easily. It's not a super thick formula, so again, I just really enjoy this one. This next one is absurdly expensive. However, it is one of my favorites, so I still did want to talk about it. This is by Tom Ford, and it is their Traceless Soft Matte Foundation. I have mine in the shade 3.5 Ivory Rose. This one is exactly what it says. It is a soft matte, so again, it's not going to like overly dry out your skin, but it's also not going to give you a luminous finish. I find that this is really easy to blend out, and the wear time on this is really great. I usually get 8 to 10 hours. I feel like with any foundation after 8 to 10 hours, we're not looking like spring chickens, but I do feel like this lasts quite a long time. I don't think I mentioned that with the Dose of Colors, but I also find that that one lasts at least 6 to 8 hours. This one, I think, does a great job at lasting that 8 to 10 hour mark before it's kind of like cutting it out. This is a more expensive, definitely more expensive formula, but I think that if you're looking for a splurge item and you enjoy a full coverage soft matte finish, you will definitely enjoy this one. This is like one of my top of all time foundations. The next one is also a little bit newer to me, but it is quickly becoming a favorite. This one is by Neutrogena, and this is their Flawless Matte CC Cream Clear Coverage. So this is, despite the fact that it says CC cream, this is definitely full coverage. It does have an interesting consistency. It's a little bit more moussey, whereas the ones that I just talked about are definitely more liquidy. However, I really enjoy the finish this gives. I will say the shade range is not up to snuff, which is quite the bummer. I have mine in the shade 4.0 Sand, and honestly, I'll need to get a lighter shade for the winter time. But this is one of those that like kind of like surprised me. I feel like Neutrogena is not a brand that I talk about very often because they don't launch a lot of things that really catch my attention. But if you have not tried this and you enjoy full coverage, again, this is that soft matte, so it's not going to, it did not overly dry out my skin. It's a CC cream actually, so it does have some of those skincare properties in it. So my face felt, or my skin on my face felt very nice after I applied this. So I think, again, if you are on the market for something that's not going to break the bank and you enjoy a full coverage look, I think you would enjoy this one. Last but certainly not least is the one that has been hanging out in my everyday makeup drawer, and this one is by Charlotte Tilbury. So this is the Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I have mine in the shade 3 Cool. I love the finish of this foundation. It's actually what I have on right now. So it's one of those, again, that's going to give that soft matte finish. This consistency is a little bit thicker, and I think one of the snafus with this foundation for probably a lot of people is that it is thicker and consequently can be a little trickier to blend out. If you have tried the Kat Von D Lock foundation, the consistency is honestly kind of similar to that. It does not smell like paint in the same way that that Kat Von D one does, but it almost can feel like paint. So less is definitely more with this foundation. So it's in my top favorite because even though it's a little bit harder to manipulate, I do feel like the final product I'm always really happy with. This is, of course, not a cost-effective option. This is Charlotte Tilbury, so it is more expensive. However, I enjoy this foundation. I've been using it very regularly. In the fall time, I really go for like full coverage, soft matte foundations, so this one definitely fits that bill. I do want to give like an honorable mention actually to that Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. It is, first of all, like so old, like old news. I feel like nobody talks about it anymore. I will see if I can put a picture up here of it, but it is super full coverage. It's the same way that that Charlotte Tilbury one comes out very thick. So does the Lock-It foundation. I actually don't have it here with me. It's in my car, in my travel makeup bag. So I need to get that out, but it's one of those foundations that since it launched, I go back to it. I always have to have it in my collection. If you don't like very thick, very full coverage foundations, you absolutely will not like that foundation. You probably won't like most of these foundations if you don't like full coverage, but that one especially it's just very thick. It really does cover every blemish, everything. And it lasts, I feel like 10 to 12 hours. I can go with that foundation on without any issue. Something I will mention about that one though is that if you have dry skin, I probably would not go for that one because that one can be a little bit drying. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe to my channel down below. As always, please stay happy, stay healthy, and stay blessed, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.